This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Yes, let's get ready to rumble. The Halftime Show is coming up in the next hour, and I'll tell you what is coming up on the show. Now, the fight of the last 10 years is finally been announced. The date not yet to be confirmed. However, Anthony Joshua will face Tyson Fury finally in a 2-fight deal. The only problem is with Tyson Fury is we know he needs motivation to be able to get off the couch and work. And one of the best technical boxers out there is going to be fighting Anthony Joshua, one of the best athletes out there, very, very soon. So we're talking about that. The first female Saudi referee to make a statement. And what does this mean for the world of football and the major movements happening in the world of sport for females, which is fantastic. We're doing that. We also got a roundup of sports, health, and fitness on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95 Radio. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in, whether it's on pulse95radio.com, 95 FM, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, on YouTube, Pulse 95 Radio, on Instagram at Omar Al-Duri, or even if you're on TikTok at Omar Al-Duri1. Thank you very much for connecting with me today, and a couple of shout outs to my favorite people: Dinner with Flo, Goran, The Life of Tariq, Zara, Masoud, Sad, Debo, all the way from Florida, Mufid. Who else I got? Megan, Louise, no Levi today, and Essay and Ayman. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in. Thank you very much. Oh, and Maria's just jumped in the room as well now in case we thought she wasn't there. Right, okay, so what we talk about today. So a couple of things on the menu for the show today. It's really nice to see a lot of movements happening in the world of sports for females. Now, the good thing about that is obviously the work must have been put in for a while, but the one who's taking the news today is Sham Al-Ghamdi. Is a step closer to becoming Saudi Arabia's first female international referee at 24 years old. She's had a dream to reach the highest level. She's got her certification by the Saudi Arabian Football Federation, which could lead to an FIFA license, hopefully. And the big goal must be to get to the World Cup final. So that's very, very excited for Sham Al-Ghamdi. The good thing about that is obviously a lot's been happening behind the scenes pre-COVID. A lot of people have been trying to go and do their license, for refereeing or for coaching and things like that. And then obviously things had been put on hold. But what does that mean is there's been consistent work behind the scenes. And if you tuned in to my show a couple weeks back, I had the coach development officer at the Football Association in England for the FA speaking to me about all the plans they're doing online and all the things they're doing for coaches, which I find personally interesting. And not only that, but looking at how things have progressed. I'm really happy for Sham Al-Ghamdi to be able to, talk to people about it and maybe open the doors for other females to get involved, because it's very easy to kind of put things on hold at the moment, but the fact that she's been active is great. She said to a newspaper that she's happy to have been approved by the Saudi Football Federation, and this is the first step before obtaining a FIFA license. She said it had to be approved by the federation in order to be able to apply for the FIFA license. She's looking forward to spending hours on developing and reading and listening to advice from refereeing experts around the world, which is fantastic. So I think this is a huge thing for sports, because we've seen a couple of females officials in the men's game as well, which has obviously opened up plenty of doors. And now we're seeing obviously the first Saudi referee aspiring to get to the FIFA World Cup final. So very, very happy to see that. Obviously not just because of my personal development in women's sports here in the UAE, but also because of the fact that people are making moves all around the world right now, and they're trying to really step up their game to be able to bring their expertise to the game. We've talked about coaches coaching the men's game. We've talked about referees now, doing their thing as well, and also the linesmen and officials that have actually taken that step have probably opened doors for many females to get involved in the sport. It's something that I think, and I always speak to a couple of friends of mine regarding this. It's always something I like to see based on merit. I like to see the fact that these females have put the work in and put the time in, and they're there on merit. Even for myself, with my assessor and my development coach, whenever he's spoken to me about me getting into the game, he's always like, take your time. Don't be what does he call it? A badge chaser. Yeah, that's what he calls it. Don't be a badge chaser. Don't just chase for the sake of the badge, just to say everyone you've done it. Put the time in. And I said, more than I have. And he said, yes, because nowadays people are taking that step in getting into coaching, rushing it, and then maybe realizing it's not for them because it was too early, too soon. So I think that's a very, very good point. But seeing, Sham Al-Ghamdi put in the work in, put in the time in, and actually, head down and wanting to learn. Obviously, the obstacles that she would face coming into FIFA, as she said in her article, is hard because she had to get approval first before she even took that step. So the fact that, I know she was out in the UAE as well for a while, getting some of her licenses here. So maybe I'll try and bring her on the show, but it would have been interesting to see the different obstacles she faces being a female, being also from this part of the world. That's another interesting one to see. The opposition all of a sudden doesn't just become stereotype. It becomes family as well. It becomes culture. It becomes, the people that tell you can't do it. So I'm very happy to see Sham Al-Ghamdi there, and hopefully we'll have her on the show. Right, coming up next, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. The fight of the last couple of decades, is finally been signed on a 2-fight deal. We'll be discussing that right after the break. Enjoy yourselves. Here's some good music for you guys, some Water by Beyonce, and I'll be right back after this.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back. So now welcome back to the Halftime Show. Already people talking about the huge news announced just a few days ago that Tyson Fury is going to fight Anthony Joshua, which is going to take over the world when it comes down to the boxing scene, a fight scene actually, for a full fact. But who do you think is going to win between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? 4215 Ittasalat or slide into my DMs as you're doing at the moment now on Instagram Live and TikTok. Now, one of the things, over the years of loving the sport, we've been denied the best fights at the best times. When Pacquiao fought Mayweather, we kind of thought that was delayed. It's been on and off for a couple of years. The speed of Pacquiao wasn't quite the same. The strategy of Mayweather worked to the T, and he didn't get, the L that a lot of people were hoping Mayweather would receive. And so, again, one of the best out there at the moment. So, saying that, the boxing world has been rocked by news that Anthony Joshua will fight Tyson Fury. The date has not been confirmed yet, but there has been a 2-deal fight signed on the table. Now, I'm sure what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to actually make sure that there will be fans in the stadium once this fight is announced. But they can only do that when they get the green light from the government. And so far, the UK has been a lot better from the mess that it was in earlier, with fans being announced they can join the arenas again in a couple of months' time. So I think they'll be waiting to get confirmation of that before they announce the actual date. But then looking at it, and I was listening to a couple of podcasts earlier regarding the show, and what was really interesting is Tyson Fury did say he is currently, let's say, not living the healthiest lifestyle. And we all know that he's faced his challenges in the past. But what's been admirable about Tyson Fury is the battle he had with mental health. And he needed a challenge to be able to step back in the ring, losing over 200 pounds to defeat Deontay Wilder. Now, with that coming in mind, Anthony Joshua will be a completely different opponent, a different animal, mainly for the fact that he's always in shape. He's always conditioned. You can see from the way he looks, from the way he breathes, from the way he acts in his life, is he's an athlete. But however, we cannot discount the skills of Tyson Fury, especially technically, and his knowledge on the game. His fight IQ is second to none, from fighting the best in the world to be able to nullify their strengths and focus on their weaknesses. So I would say a fit and healthy Tyson Fury will be able to definitely dismantle Anthony Joshua. But a lot of people actually now have been saying, and especially on the Instagram, saying that AJ wins this. Do you really think that AJ has the knowledge to be able to outskill Tyson Fury? It's going to be a very, very close fight. And I think maybe the motivation that Tyson Fury needs, because we all saw how he reacted to, Deontay Wilder, especially in the second fight. But at the moment now, looking at this, I think they're saying that they might be announcing it in July, but it's all speculation. They said that All the talk from both camps has been aiming on a date in late June or early July. However, Fury's co-promoter Bob Arum recently revealed that issues with the pandemic are complicating potential site deals. He said everyone is stuck in the same thing, the coronavirus. No one's going to put up any money while the virus will impact spectators and everything else. So pretty much what we said earlier, the fight will be to unify the WBA, the WBC, the IBF and the WBO heavyweight world titles, and it's set to be the biggest fight in British boxing history. Who do you think is going to win? Text me on 4215 Itasalat or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri at the moment as Sameh is doing the shine on Doogie's head down. Love it. Not a close fight at all. Tyson Fury will kill him. Murad says, I would like AJ to win. Mufid says, I want AJ because he's made the best out of what he has. Fury has wasted a lot of talent. Has he though? Has he wasted a lot of talent? He's beaten everyone in front of him. The price of these social distance seats though, let's see if I can read some of these comments out at the moment. Tariq, everybody's here today. Yes, everyone is joined in on the Instagram live and letting me know what they think about the Tyson Fury AJ fight, and also what they think about Monday Night Football as well. So let me know who's going to win the fight, Fury or Joshua, and when it's announced, what condition is Tyson Fury going to be in? I see you right after this. Now, I did say I'm going to play a song. This is one of my favorite acoustics out there at the moment. Ben Long called Addicted. Just jam to this, and I'll see you right after this. Enjoy.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Yes, we are back. We are back on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio in the heart of Sharjah. People are still commenting about my shirt that I was wearing the other day. I said I'm not going to talk about the Arsenal-Tottenham game or anything that happened in the North London derby, which we won 2-1. So yeah, let's talk about other sports for now. Mufid, stop provoking me from talking about Arsenal, Tottenham. Okay, a couple of things happened in the UAE. The Ironman record 70.3 Dubai was fantastic. We actually saw a lot of people fly in and do the course, which is, again, to do an Ironman or an Iron Woman is amazing. You know, hats off to all those athletes that do some incredible things. You know, I think for me personally, watching those people perform out there is amazing. And if you were wondering what they were doing, they were swimming for 1.2 miles. They were cycling for 56 miles. And they were running for 13.1 miles. And that's all in one go. So seeing the person called Bakigard set the new record was amazing. And Raif took the woman's crown as well. You know, the amount of training and the muscular endurance and the recovery and the managing of nutrition is what's amazing to see with these people, because, you know, they fly in to the UAE, especially right now with the situation going on. You're going to have to be training where you are. You're going to have to be on point with so many factors. You're going to have to be very careful, with who you interact with and where you go. And then you come out here to perform, and in that factor, you would have obviously traveled to come here. So that was very, very impressive. Daniela Raif, winner of the women's title in 2016 and 2017, made a triumphant return to competition with a blistering run to pip the 2020 champion Imogen Simmons for the Ironman 70.3 Dubai women's title. Again, fantastic from these athletes that are able to do that in these conditions at the moment now as well. You know, how does anyone swim 1.2 miles? That's a good question, Mufi. Definitely not me. But yeah, you know, just looking at that, seeing, you know, the different things that are happening. And I've always said that the UAE has some of the best places to run, some of the best places, you know, to have a nice skyline, a nice background when you're watching these events happening. And we're so lucky to have that even here in Sharjah, you know, and all across the UAE. We've got such amazing scenes to be able to promote exercise as well and do, you know, for the fitness segment today, we are talking about that. You know, have you set yourself a goal and achieved it? And how long has it taken you to achieve it? Did you maybe put things on hold and come back to it? What did you have to switch up? You know, I want to know what you guys were doing. Abu Dhabi World Professional Jiu-Jitsu Championship returns next month. Dubai is to host a friendly rugby match between the UAE and Israel as well. What else do we have? Banias beat Kalba Al Ain, hold Al Wasl in the Arabian Gulf League. We spoke about football already, so I won't mention Arsenal beat Tottenham 2-1, which is great. I can't listen. The amount of abuse I got before that game, you only needed to know. T20 cricket, Kohli equals Williamson's record of most 50s by a captain, and we've also got, Zinedine Zidane praising Modric and saying that age is just a number. That's right, Murad and Mufid, you heard that. Age is just a number. Your best years are ahead of you. So yeah, with regarding to all the things that are happening now, there's a lot of people that are talking about fans coming back into the stadiums, and I think that makes a huge difference. The UFC announced that, the fans will be returning. I'm not sure which number event, but it will be in, I think, 6 weeks' time, where we're going to have fans back in the stadiums to be able to, support the teams. The Premier League has spoken about that as well. There's so many factors, that we're looking at, and having like the soul of the sport taken away for such a long time, obviously for obvious reasons, for safety reasons. To have that back, I'm sure the experience will add so much more value to watching sports. I mean, at one point we had no sports and no fans. We got the sports back, but the fans still need to be there. And the fact that the 12th man will be announced very, very soon across all the sports is amazing, and I'm very, very happy to see that, especially on the halftime show, that we're going to have fans back in the stadiums. What sport are you looking forward to most? And actually, here's a question for you. What sport has been affected most by not having its fans? 4215, it's Salat Urdu, or slide into my DMs at Omar Al Duri. A little bit of an NSYNC cover. I think you guys might remember this. Enjoy this, and I'll see you right after the break.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al Duri. Thank you very much for spending your afternoon with me today in the UAE. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in. A couple of good points actually during the break that Mufid came up with, saying that, football is kind of has missed, the fans the most, probably because of the impact they have. And Zara came up saying, by that logic, I guess Villa hate their fans being there because they've done much better without them. And even West Ham as well, thinking about that with Tottenham, or even Florence said that Liverpool's decline has been because of that. I also think, Sheffield United, when you look at Chris Wilder leaving his job as well, and him being a person who's from the city, a person who was the ball boy at Sheffield United, to becoming manager, for those that don't know, and getting them promoted and going to the Premier League and almost taking the league by storm by local players in the UK. What a story that is. It's very much like a movie. But then now departing because, the decline of Sheffield United, and also without having their fans around, has been hard. But I also think, Terry comes up and says that rugby played the crowd noise too. I also think that the fans, if ever you kind of, we always joke about like the fan TV channels and, all that kind of stuff. And I got friends there as well who are very, very like passionate about the game. But more than ever, what COVID has taught the fans and the institutions that have these clubs, that fans really do make a huge difference. And seeing teams like West Ham, Aston Villa, really raised their game because there was no pressure. Home and away really didn't make a difference in that sense. It's unbelievable to see what the world has done in terms of resetting its priorities when it comes down to, the importance of fans and the impact they have on sports in general. Yes, there has been, fans allowed back in the stadium. At some point it was restricted. And then you saw with different championships you were allowed to kind of watch from a distance. But this is something that's huge. Mufid says, yeah, but also credit where it's due. Some teams like West Ham and Aston Villa are there on merit, not COVID. Absolutely. And it's funny you mention that, because being a manager right now or being a coach right now is really, really tough, because the expectation levels are very high. You can't spend time developing someone in the youth system knowing that you might not be there to be able to see that person, whether male or female, when they actually make it to the big time, because you won't be there. 4 victories can make you feel on top of the world, and 4 defeats can make you feel like you're about to lose your job. So it's honestly, it's something that who would want to be, a manager or a coach in this modern game? Me. Just because you get tested against some of the best people out there, you get put in such a situation where you have to not only come up with a game plan, but you also have to come up with a solution to every reaction, every move, every tactic, every strategy made. You've got to be able to understand what's coming up, in the game. So very, very interesting to see how the different coaches have adapted. Some have been given time. Some people were calling for people's jobs to be, for them to be fired. Then all of a sudden, you get some amazing results. You get some incredible score lines, and we're back to square one again. Even with UFC, by the way, having the Conor McGregor's come back. Would Conor McGregor have lost if he had fans there? Seeing Israel Adesanya the other day lose again, another crowd pleaser, someone that you kind of want to watch and see, in the game do his thing. So plenty of things to chew on, plenty of things to wonder. But you know what, guys? We're almost there. We're almost back in the stadiums. I'm excited. I hope you guys, are feeling the energy and the vibe as well, because once those fans come back in, and once, I don't know when the next time I will be watching a live event, but I will say that there is something about, a packed stadium, the energy, the emotions, the experience of being there. I think the last UFC fight I went to see was Khabib fight, actually, against Dustin Poirier, and even that, it was just as soon as he was even walking out, you could feel the expectation and the adrenaline rushing through people's bodies to see, the great man himself fighting. And I think with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to feel the same thing once there's fans in there. If you missed the show, you can catch all the episodes on podcast, Apple, Spotify, or SoundCloud. If you prefer a visual, Super Mario and Gabby put it up on the YouTube channel on Pulse 95 Radio. We are reaching full time on the halftime show. Remember, you catch every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. But before I let you go, on Saturday, we're going to have a special show for you on recovery. So for those people that are active and don't give that domino enough attention in Reset, make sure you tune in, because I'm going to have a guest coming in talking all about recovery and all the hacks to get you on par with a sustainable routine when it comes to health and fitness. So I'm talking about that. And also next week, the color psychology. That's another one to make you think about for next week. But we have reached full time. I hope you have a blessed day. Love you guys, and I will see you soon. Peace and love, guys.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.